You've been sensing it, haven't you? A subtle shift in the atmosphere, a presence that lingers even when you're by yourself. As if heaven itself is leaning in, listening. And it truly is. The angels heard his plea. In a moment when his spirit was weary and his heart clouded by silence, he whispered your name, not out loud, but in that delicate space where longing turns into prayer. He didn't even realize he was praying. Yet the heavens knew. They felt the ache, the confusion, the way his soul trembled at the thought of you. And they moved. Dear soul, you were not brought into this man's life by mere chance. You are the answer to something he could not articulate. The angels say, she was chosen as a light in his hour of darkness. Not to save him, but to remind him that he still knows how to feel. You stepped into his world like a gentle storm, soft, yet impossible to overlook. You rattled the roots of things he buried deep. Not through effort, not through force, just by being. Your essence is the key, and you've unlocked something sacred. This connection is far from ordinary. You were placed in his life to awaken what was dormant, to soften what had become hardened. Not for your own sake, but because you carry within you a pulse of divine timing. He wasn't ready, but heaven knew he would be. And now, you're standing at the edge of something that cannot be undone. A meeting orchestrated long before either of you remembered who you truly are. A calling wrapped in human skin. And now, he feels it too. The pull. The stir. The question that won't leave him in peace. Why her? Why now? Why can't I forget? The angels whisper again, because she is not just a chapter. She is the entire book he thought he'd lost. And today, dear soul, they reveal this truth to you. You were sent not to fill his emptiness, but to remind him he was never actually empty, just asleep. Now he begins to awaken. And nothing will ever be the same. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. John 15 verse 9, there's something he never told you. Not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't find the words to match the storm inside. He's not indifferent. He's not cruel. He's not blind. He's scared. The angels say, he carries wounds stitched together by silence. And when he looks at you, they begin to tear open again, not from pain but from light. You see, your presence reveals things. Things he's hidden even from himself. You make him feel too much. And for someone who has survived by numbing, that kind of feeling is terrifying. He wants to love you. He wants to step into your light, into your warmth, into that softness you offer so effortlessly. But there are shadows still wrapped around his ankles. Memories that haunt, doubts that whisper, echoes from those who taught him that love equals loss. And even now, as his heart stirs, his mind builds walls. Not because you're wrong for him, but because you're so right, it scares him. He's afraid of needing you. Afraid of changing. Afraid that once he lets you in, you'll leave. This isn't your fault. And it's not a reflection of your worth. He's fighting ghosts. Not you. The angels are clear. You didn't cause his retreat. You triggered his awakening. And awakenings are never quiet. You cracked the illusion that kept him safe, the belief that love is just another promise waiting to break. And now, he doesn't know who to be with you. You see the man. But he only sees the boy inside, afraid, unsure, not enough. Still, something is shifting. Your energy keeps reaching him, even when words fail. And slowly, the walls begin to tremble. He may not say it. He may not show it. But he feels you, in the quiet moments, in the restless nights, in the spaces between his thoughts. You are not forgotten. You are the invitation to healing he never thought would come. And though he resists, part of him is already walking toward you. He's not the only one in this story. And the angels need you to remember that. While your light touches others, it must first warm your own skin. You were not sent here to burn out trying to keep someone else warm. The angels whisper, she is the flame, not the fuel. So breathe. This connection, sacred as it may be, cannot cost you your peace. Love was never meant to make you disappear. And if you felt drained, overlooked, or on pause waiting for his readiness, know this: you're allowed to pause for you. Your worth isn't measured by how much patience you offer, how much silence you endure, or how much waiting you survive. You are not on hold. You are becoming. He is healing in his own rhythm, yes. But so are you. And that healing includes letting go of the need to be chosen to feel valuable. You are already chosen, by God, by the universe, by the light within you that refuses to dim. The angels are clear: she is not a placeholder. She is the presence. So rest when you need. Say no when it hurts. Love from wholeness, not hunger. Because when your heart is full of you, it becomes magnetic, not desperate. He will feel that. He already does. That shift in you, when you stopped waiting and started rising, it called him closer in ways words can't explain. And even if he doesn't respond right away, the energy is already at work. Take care of your joy. Water your soul. Let your life be your sanctuary, not a waiting room. And when love arrives fully, it won't demand you shrink to fit it. It will recognize the light you've been carrying all along. There's a reason he looks away. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much. Your eyes, they see right through. Through the masks, through the stories, through the armor. You are a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. The angels say, when she entered, his reflection began to change. He could no longer pretend he was whole. You didn't point out his wounds. You just stood there, radiant, honest, unafraid. And in your presence, all his hidden truths began to surface. You awaken what he's tried to bury. Not by force. Not by judgment. But by being unapologetically yourself. Your joy unsettles him. Your softness confronts him. Your strength exposes the places where he's crumbled inside. He sees what he could be, what he hasn't allowed himself to become. And that shakes him. He pulls away not because he wants to forget you, but because he wants to forget what he's not ready to face. You didn't make him feel small. But next to your light, his shadows grew louder. Still, you're not his healer. You're the reminder that healing is possible. That love can be clear and still hold mystery. That someone can see you and stay. The angels remind you, she reflects his soul not to haunt, but to invite. He may resist. He may run. But something in him knows, the reflection he fears is also the one that holds his freedom. And every time he dreams of you, it's not the image that lingers. It's the feeling of finally being seen. He won't forget. Because what you showed him wasn't just love. It was himself, unmasked. And that vision, once glimpsed, never fades. Something has cracked. Not loudly. Not with fanfare. But subtly, unmistakably. There's a new sound in his silence. A pulse. A pull. A recognition. He doesn't understand it yet, but he feels it. The angels say, the heart begins to wake in stillness, long before the mind agrees. You may not see grand gestures, but the shift is happening. The way he lingers longer in your presence. The softening in his voice when your name is mentioned. The questions he asks, not of you but of himself. He wonders why he thinks of you at night. Why your absence feels louder than your presence ever did. Why in the quiet, it's your light that glows through his memories. He thought he could move on. But the truth is, he's never left. You're imprinted in places he didn't even know were there. This awakening is not easy. It rarely is. He is stumbling through it, uncertain, vulnerable, undone. But it's real. And that's what the angels want you to hold on to. Because while you're doubting, questioning, and protecting your own fragile hope, he is learning to listen. To the whisper that says, she is not like the others. She is the moment I stopped pretending. This is the beginning of his return. Not just to you, but to himself. He's starting to remember that love doesn't always have to hurt. That maybe, just maybe, you were never here to break him, but to open what was waiting beneath the ache. The angels urge, be patient. The soul moves slowly when it's learning to feel again. This is holy ground. And what's awakening now is sacred. He comes close, and then disappears. Whispers something tender, only to vanish into silence. And you're left wondering, is it real? Was it ever real? The angels say, yes. And that's why he runs. What you awaken in him is not casual. It doesn't fade with time or distance. It follows him, not like a shadow, but like breath. He tries to outgrow it. He dates distractions. He fills his days with noise. But you remain, not as a memory, but as a presence. He's not indecisive. He's afraid of the permanence that love like yours promises, because he's lived in cycles. Of almosts. Of maybes. Of love that didn't ask him to grow. And then you. You arrived. Whole. Alive. Radiant with truth. And now his patterns no longer fit. The angels reveal, he doesn't return out of habit. He returns because your energy disarms the lie that he is unlovable. Every time he leaves, it's not rejection. It's resistance. And every return is him trying, clumsily, quietly, to choose love over fear. It hurts, I know, to feel like a lighthouse waiting for a ship lost at sea. But your light is not in vain. He is learning. Slowly. Painfully. But surely. Because this isn't a game to him. It's a transformation. And while he may not say it, he feels safest in your presence, even when it terrifies him. So yes, he may come and go. But each time, the going gets shorter. And one day soon, he will stay. It wasn't your words that changed him. It was the way you stayed, even in silence. The way your presence wrapped around his chaos without asking for it to calm. The angels whisper, she didn't fix him. She loved him where he was. And that began the healing. He didn't realize what was happening at first. How your energy softened the places he kept guarded. He thought love was supposed to be loud, dramatic, consuming. But with you, it felt like peace. And that scared him even more. Because he's used to love that comes with conditions. That demands he earn every drop. But you offered it like breath, natural, steady, without question. You saw through his mess and still called him worthy. You touched his grief and didn't flinch. You met his hesitation with grace. That is medicine. Not the kind that numbs, the kind that revives. The angels say, she is the silence after the storm. The calm he never thought he deserved. You've become his safe space. Even when he's far. Even when he pretends not to feel. Because his soul remembers. How your love never demanded performance. How your gaze never judged the mess beneath the charm. This love. It doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It heals. And though he may not yet have the language to say it, his spirit is already echoing with one truth. She loved me into remembering who I am. Let that be enough for now. Not because it's all you'll ever get, but because the healing has begun. And when love becomes medicine, the whole heart begins to breathe again. Not everything has to make sense right now. Some things are being written in a language the mind can't read, only the soul. You've been asking why. Why the delays? Why the silence? Why the closeness and then the distance? But heaven's timing isn't dictated by earthly clocks. The angels say, she waits not in vain, but in alignment. Every second holds purpose. What feels like stillness is sacred choreography. What feels like unanswered prayers are blueprints unfolding. This is not a detour. This is the path. He is being prepared. So are you. The kind of love your soul yearns for isn't built in haste. It's crafted in divine hands, slow, intentional, unshakable. And though you may not see the full picture, he is feeling it. The pull. The urge to change. The invitation to become more than he was before he met you. You've stirred a remembering in him, not of the past, but of who he's meant to be. And now, he is being called forward. It may take time. It may stretch your heart. But the angels are surrounding you both. Orchestrating encounters. Softening resistance. Lining up the stars. Because this love, it matters. Not just to you. To the heavens. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Let that be your anchor. Even when it's quiet. Even when it hurts. There is movement. There is purpose. There is a divine hand holding every thread of this story. He hides behind smiles. Well-crafted words. Half-truths disguised as distance. Not because he doesn't want to be known, but because he fears what knowing might cost. The angels whisper, he has loved before. And bled for it. Now love feels like risk, not refuge. You ask yourself why he hesitates. Why, even after everything, he still holds back. And the answer isn't rejection. It's tenderness. Too tender to expose. Too sacred to give up without trembling. He doesn't fear you. He fears the softness in him that you've awakened. Because in your presence, the armor cracks. And underneath, there's a boy. The one who needed to be held and never was. The one who learned that silence is safer than truth, that longing should be hidden, not spoken. But your gaze, it speaks fluently to his silence. You've touched something he doesn't yet know how to name. Something deep. Something sacred. And now, he's torn. To let you in is to be seen without a mask. To let you close is to admit he needs something more than solitude. The angels reveal, he wants to love. Desperately. But he's afraid his softness will be too loud. That if he lets you hear his heart, you'll walk away like everyone else. But you won't. Because you've seen his soul in the stillness. And you stayed. That's what terrifies him the most. And draws him closer every time. So be patient. Let your presence continue to convey what your words cannot. And trust that when he is ready to unclench the fist he calls his heart, it will be you he turns to.